Obama makes an appearance on late night TV to promote student loan policy. That's for those who are up late who can't go to sleep yet. They will go to sleep with Obama talking about student loan policy. I'm Allen Barton. Stand by for Front Page.
On July 1st of this year, the interest rates on Stafford student loans, the same loans that many of you used to help pay for college, are set to double. And that means some hardworking students will be paying about $1,000 extra just to get their education. So I've called on Congress to prevent this from happening. What we've said is simple. Now is not the time to make school more expensive for our young people.
Oh, yeah. You should listen to the president.
Wow, I'm really looking forward to someone more square in the Oval Office. We need just a little less hipness going on. Joining me in studio, Keith Lockitch, fellow at the Ayn Rand Center for Individual Rights, Terry Jones, associate editor for Investors Business Daily. Wow, $1,000 more expensive. Per what? Per unit of what? I mean, just 1,000 in general over 4 years? Oh, the context. We want the context. All right, Terry, Ben Shapiro at Breitbart.com says this appearance actually violated campaign finance laws. So before we get to the actual merits of student loans, what's going on here in terms of campaign finance?
Well, I mean, many of these appearances he makes around the country before groups and different things are clearly political pandering for the upcoming election. They have nothing to do with his duties as President of the United States, and this would be just one of them. I mean, this was plainly a political.
So does technically that mean that his campaign should be paying for the trip if he's doing something like this? Because obviously the president has to go via his entourage and his 747. So is it a matter of who pays for that trip?
That's the question. I mean, taxpayers should not have to foot the bill for the president's campaign stops. We're not footing the bill for Mitt Romney's campaign stops. Why should we foot the bill for the president's? But this is I must say, this is a bipartisan, time-honored tradition where the president makes stops in politically crucial states and just says, well, this is just part of my meet and greet duties as the president. But you can see right through that. This was clearly a campaign stop intended to get the attention of young people whose enthusiasm for Obama has been flagging.
Yeah. Keith, anything you want to say? What do you think of Obama on Fallon here?
Well, look, I mean, I'm against any restrictions on campaign finance anyway. I don't think there should be campaign finance laws. I think it's a violation of freedom of speech. But, I mean, what's striking is that Obama does support them. You know, when the Supreme Court tried to remove restrictions on corporate speech in the Citizens United case, Obama was against that ruling. He thought, so he supports campaign finance laws, and yet he finds every opportunity he can to flout them.
Are you saying that there's hypocrisy at the top levels of government? Come on, Keith, you negative person. All right, let's get to the merits of student loans. Obama alludes to these Stafford loans and that the interest rates are going to go up. Why don't you give us a little bit of the treasured, just time-honored context that seems to be missing from all these arguments?
Well, this bill was passed in 2007 when the economy went in the tank by a Democratic Congress, I might add. And they basically were giving kids a break for a few years, saying, well, the interest rates are too high and it's cost too much to go to school, so let's lower the interest rates and give them concessionary interest rates.
And let's have it kick up in the middle of the summer of an election year. Wasn't that interesting?
Yeah,
the timing
strange.
of that. So then someone would have to argue about, well, let's let the student rates go up in the middle of an election
year. Are you saying you're suspicious about the timing?
No, I'm just saying it's a coincidence.
Wow.
It's a very interesting coincidence.
You two guys are so cynical. Yeah, I mean, it's just unbelievable. But the thing is, it doesn't go up for everybody. So
yeah, it's a fraction of the student loans. Not everyone gets a Stafford loan, and it's only for those people who are starting college under one of those loans, which means that these loans aren't going to be, no one's going to be paying a dime more until 4 years from now.
No, and the average amount saved is about $7 a month. So we're not talking about a huge amount here. We're not talking about a difference between somebody going to school and not going to school. It's a difference between them having a double latte versus a single latte.
Yeah, per month in 4 years.
In 4 years, yeah.
Keith, the argument is that low-interest student loans help people go to college, and this is a good thing. Wouldn't we want more people going to college? As you hear the president say, why make college more expensive when we can make it less expensive? Why don't you go to the heart of that argument?
I mean, the whole reason this can be used as a political football is because we have the government involved in providing student loans in the first place. If, you know, there's no reason why people have come to regard this as yet another entitlement on the list of entitlements that everybody has. There's no reason why taxpayers should be funding people's education. This is a service that people value, and they can go out in the marketplace, they can get a loan, they can pay for their education. There's
Well,
no
they
reason
could until the Obama administration, as part of its health care plan, because it's a very important part of your health care that student loans be run by the government. Terry, wasn't this by fiat? He did this as part of Obamacare. There are no more private banks giving student loans. Didn't the government take it?
The government now runs the program.
Because it cut out the middleman. It's more efficient.
You know, why have those unnecessary middlemen? You know, we call them commercial banks, or we used to anyway.
Right.
Lending money to people they thought might be good future customers, and that was the whole reason. There was a lot of self-interest there on the part of the bank. But now that we got the government involved, every decision it makes will be politicized, as this shows. And Keith's absolutely right. And one of the things that you hear middle-class parents complain about all the time, and I'm going to soon be in that group, that is that the cost of education is soaring. And in fact, it is. It's soaring much faster than the CPI. But guess what? One of the main causes of that increase is the involvement of government in the education process.
When is it that people are going to learn that as soon as you have the government sponsor anything, it is automatically, absolutely,
the cost
mechanically inflationary?
Yes.
It is absolutely inflationary because there's a difference between go and have dinner and go and have dinner on me. And all of a sudden the choices and the whole system starts to change. The decision-making changes.
Yeah,
there you go. And then the restaurant providing the dinner says, oh, the government's paying for your dinner. Oh, well, it's actually $5 more to get that dinner because I'm being reimbursed by that guy over there, not by you.
Well, if college is such a great thing, why don't we just have government mandate that all youngsters will have to go to college by law and take over the entire process?
But here's the thing that's interesting is that the Associated Press is also reporting that unemployment amongst recent college graduates is astronomically high. They're saying half of students, fully 50%, are unemployed or underemployed. Now, underemployed gets to be a gigantic, I don't know how you quantify that, but still, it's a lot of people not getting the jobs they want who have been subsidized through this education. Keith, do you want to speak to that?
You know, kids need to think about what they're going to study, where they're going to go when they come out of college. I think too often, because we have it as an entitlement, there's this expectation everyone's going to go to college. People go in, they study, you know, in subjects that they're interested in without really a lot of thought about where it's going to lead to and what kind of work they're going to do.
So, Terry, what do you think? I mean, why shouldn't we subsidize via taxpayer funds a student loan for someone who wants to study folklore and mythology? And then we're surprised when they come out and they can't get a job in a place that needs engineering and computer science.
And then they become a welfare recipient. I mean, you're right. I mean, the number of unemployed or underemployed people in the labor market, you know, young people just out of college is enormous.
Is there a breakdown in terms of by major? I'd be interested to see how many are unemployed who major in computer sciences, engineering, et cetera, versus the humanities.
There is, and the people with science, technology, engineering, or math degrees, the so-called STEM subjects, have an unemployment rate well below half of what the others have.
Right. So you're free to study whatever you want in college. You go to liberal arts college, you can study all the liberal arts you want, but you better have some skills that you're developing in the meantime or know how to get a job in that department. But I guess that would fall under what's it called?
That responsibility thing?
Oh, personal responsibility. Along with commercial banks, there used to be something called personal responsibility. All right, gentlemen, thank you very much. For Keith and Terry, I'm Allen Barton, and you've been watching Front Page.